Hey, hello, good morning. I have a surprise for us today. This is Deirdre Hade. I'm a mystic, and I have my beloved friend, Reverend Temple Hayes. She is a author, a spiritual leader, and a difference maker. She's heads the First Unity campus in St. Petersburg, and Will and I, my husband, had the great fun of going there and uh, doing a mystic and physicist retreat. And she's here with me in Southern California today. So I said, Temple, come on. Oh, you're my soul pod. So I want to bring you to everybody. And for those of you who read my newsletter this week, really focusing on love no matter what, and how great acts of kindness are small or large, it doesn't matter, because in the field, in the unified field, and in God's eyes, all acts of loving kindness are equal, have equal merit, and affect our world. So, my beloved Reverend Temple Hayes, why don't you share some of your wisdom with us?
Well, I feel that is one of the challenges, if you will, that we have today, is that so many people, they sit back and they see some of the issues that we have as being a lot or too big. Well, I want to do something, but I just find it overwhelming. So sadly, they do nothing. And so when you're talking about those small acts, I think that's the key, is to put a step forward and do something little. I heard someone say one time that it will find you. You look around in communities, you look at broken toys in front yards, that there's the lack of love. I mean, it's easy to find something, but it will come to you. And I was telling Deirdre that I was in Brazil for a retreat to do nothing.
Oh, this is a great story. Great
right?
story.
I mean, I'm like, I'm going to do
this
nothing.
This is a perfect story of how one little act can grow, and it's like not even yours anymore. It just creates something wonderful. So please tell us.
So I was like, I'm going to be in Brazil, and I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to be with John of God. And just be in that sacred place. Well, at the end of the street in Abidjan, Brazil, like so many areas of America, there were all these avoided dogs, and they were hungry and starving, and I just couldn't turn my face away. I couldn't turn my cheek. And so I just became connected to them, and we would dance in the street, and some of them would kneel down, and I taught them namaste. I mean, we definitely, became such friends. And so I made a promise. I will see you again, and we're going to bring you to the States. So short of the story, that's what happened, is that a series of things occurred, and people and another partner friend of mine, that we brought 9 dogs to the United States. All of them found families, and then it led to our spiritual campus doing pet adoption, and we've adopted over 300 pets, dogs and cats, rabbits and whatever, all kind of animals over the past almost 4 years.
Wow, that's an amazing story. And in the Kabbalah, the mystical Kabbalah, it says that every act that we do of loving kindness, of care, repairs the brokenness of the divine. And now why? Because the divine in the ancient Hebrew texts, the divine is here. Like heaven, earth is not separate from heaven. We are in heaven, but this is the part of heaven that's in creation or evolution. And so it's broken. And to have dominion over the earth, what that really means is to be the healer, to bring order and balance into the world of chaos. Because creation is birthed from chaos. And we humans, it's actually our job to bring balance here in this strata of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that by caring for those who are sick, less fortunate,
Mm-hmm.
service, by giving service to dogs, animals, cats, the ocean, fish, every part of this world. And I know it goes without saying that we see that we've done the opposite as humans. We've actually taken this piece of heaven and destroyed it even more.
Mm-hmm.
But I have hope. I have a lot of hope because everywhere I see stories where people get an idea and then clear, heal, purify something. And I said in my newsletter this story. I was born in right next to Lake Michigan in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that water.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I would
It's
go
beautiful
there. I
there.
was about 4, and I believed that the water, the body of water, was my mother.
Mm.
Like I had
You're
my
sacred.
human mother, and then I
Mhm.
had this this water mother.
Absolutely.
And one day I went there, and there was a sign. I couldn't read it, but there were dead fish everywhere. And I went to run in the water, and my mother yelled, "No, no, stop!"
Mm.
And I looked at the water, and I smelled the water, and I said, "Oh, my mother's died." I used the word died.
Sure.
I didn't even say dying. I said
It
she
was a death.
died.
Mhm.
I said someone killed my mother, and I started crying and I remember having this meltdown, and my mother looking at me and like, "Oh my gosh, she's over." They call me dramatic, but to me, I felt that. And then I just read in the paper, I wrote this whole story how the Chicago River, which feeds Lake Michigan, how terribly polluted it was. It was just horrible. Well, it's all cleaned up, and they have planted trees. People put their feet in the water, and I thought, what did it take to do that? All the people it took to do that, and we'll never know their names. We'll see the mayor stand up and say, "Oh, we're so great," but who's the we?
The we, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's every person doing one thing to do the impossible. And that really is the energy of this new age.
Mm-hmm.
The we, the collective, working together for a greater purpose. In the 80s and 90s, it was the I, me, I'm great time. But now it's I'm great and we're even better. We're even greater. I'm great. But together, we're greater, more. We have more energy, more power to be able to move mountains. And together, we can move mountains.
That's very well said.
So, my love, tell us what you want to tell us now.
Well, the other aspect of it is I feel often in small acts of kindness, that people will say, "I can't take on one more thing. I can't take on one more thing. Oh my goodness." My mantra has become that I'm busy. So if you're out there doing that, please bury that mantra. Because it's a cry for help, and it simply means you're putting your energy on a lot of things you don't really want to do. And so we release that, and then we realize that it's not that you're taking on one more thing, it's that you're emerging toward the one thing that's going to energize you and give you more life than you ever dreamed of. So many people, even today, since 2012, come up and they'll thank me. "Oh, that was so great of you, what you and Carol Rundle did for the dogs." And I go, "You have no idea what the dogs did for me."
Right.
It's that cycle that it is all coming back energetically and spiritually, and it does bring us all together. And you and I have had several conversations. I've never been more excited about the times that I am now, because truths that are non-truths will not last. Everything's coming to the surface, And Mother Nature is out there yelling and screaming at the same time, because we are birthing a new time and a new era of miracles and surprises.
Absolutely. We are entering the age of surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And this age that we're in, this time where we seem to feel like, oh, I that can't happen, and then something does, or there's a sense of grief. And I just want to address this, because grief is not bad. We have this false notion that to be in oneness, we don't experience the kind of the deeper reservoir of oneness. Mm-hmm. And part of that deeper reservoir of oneness is grief, is feeling a loss. So I feel, we're all feeling this loss, mm-hmm. because we're in the midst of change. And the ego mind tends to always look back and go, it was better then.
Yes.
But if you go back, you go, oh no, it really wasn't better then. It'll be better then, over there. So the ego's always like, if you're here, it's always like, no, be over there. No, you're there. Oh no. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it creates a lot of confusion inside of us. But when we move forward and when we see things happening such as they're happening today, it is a healthy response to have grief. And grief is holy, because grief is really the alchemy, the internal alchemy of your soul wanting to take that rupture, that pain, mm-hmm. and turn it into a diamond. The way the earth takes coal and presses it into a diamond. Each of us, within each of us, is a tree of life. And this tree is a unified field of creation. Just as the trees take in carbon dioxide and give us this beautiful oxygen, we, our souls, we experience or take in the loss and grief of the world, and through our alchemy, we create oxygen, we create more life. Mm-hmm. And that's the phoenix, mm-hmm. that phoenix within us. So I want to address it, because when we finish, I'd like to do a radiance healing to activate everyone to be able to have this alchemy. Because when mm-hmm. you acknowledge grief and just allow yourself to bring it to the light in deep prayer, something happens that is beyond our understanding. Joy. Mm-hmm. Joy comes, release. Oh, okay, that was then. This is now. I release that. Oh, I have a new joy for life, a happiness, a zest. And when we don't acknowledge this grief, what I have found is that voice is yelling, getting louder mm-hmm. and louder and louder. And the grief just starts to press us down, press us down, press us down. And then our friend, the ego, comes along and says, oh, that grief belongs to me. I think I'm going to use that grief. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it takes that grief and it beats us up and it beats other people up and it blames people and it gets angry. And the ego is just having a jolly good time with our grief. So I say, take that grief back from the ego, acknowledge it as a part of the alchemy of your service here. And we can turn all of it into light, into goodness, into the age of awakening.
Well, one of the things, when you think about it, is that mm-hmm. one of the most significant and strongest emotions we feel when we are being birthed mm-hmm. is the grief of our mother. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the final I let go. Mm-hmm. and you're coming into the world, and you think of the mothers that actually experience post-traumatic stress because it's a grief of I've carried you and now you're no longer there. And so it's a beautiful design creation. And that's why you and I talk about how could anyone ever feel disconnected from that which created you. It's like saying a cup of water of the ocean isn't the same as the ocean. It is. And that heaven on earth is that capacity to grieve that, to have that emotion, because it means we're being born into something else. Grief isn't some of the ways that we've learned that it means you're helpless or it's over or whatever. It's a new emerging. It's a new coming forward. It's the grand finale. And Mother Earth is crying with us now because she's birthing into another space. She too it's happening along with us. And so in allowing that, we are so powerful in our oneness. Yes.
Oh, so beautiful. Absolutely. And that I'm so glad you brought up about Mother, because part of the energy of our service today, and no small act of greatness. I just had this epiphany of what is greatness. We misjudge it.
Okay.
We misjudge. We think greatness is I'm the emperor of the world, right? But that's the ego's definition.
I have my name on my office door.
Yeah, I'm on floor 99.
And it's the best floor.
It's the best floor, the best office. That's the I am great. That's the ego's definition of great. But the Spirit's definition of great is any act of generosity, any act of kindness, any act of care, any act of nurturing. And when I go out in the world and I work with people and I come to beautiful Florida, and then we're going to be going to the Berkshires in the fall, Kripalu. What I see is that many people are doing such great work. So you're great, but nobody thinks it's great. Oh, well, it wasn't anything, or doesn't count. But I want to tell you, as someone, and if you can just hold this belief, just play with me, just pretend it's true, even though it's hard to believe it's true. I can see these multidimensional realities with my eyes, and I read energy. I see energy. And so I see that all these acts of greatness are having a huge influence on the world.
Yes. A
huge healing influence. And so I just wanted to remind you today that you're great and that you are performing greatness when you nurture, you care, you're kind, you forgive, when you have an aha of transformation, when you choose your soul instead of your ego, and you say to the ego, oh, you're so cute, but you're going to go sit in the corner today. We have to love that ego too, right? We have to love the ego.
Yes.
I mean, the ego is the youngest part of our consciousness. And it's just, having a field day. It's kind of like if you gave your 5-year-old the keys to the car. Can you imagine what that would look like? That's somewhere we're looking at. So we want to love our ego too. It's really about love, and it's coming together, like us coming together, and all of you here coming together, and you're great. Those acts of kindness in the eyes of creation, in the field of all that is, that whether we want to say it's God or Mother Divine or the ocean of the universe, or it doesn't matter the name, that intelligence that birthed us, that created us, she, he, they, see these acts as great because they know how difficult it is to be a human. And so all their angels down here, yes, you're an angel. We're all angels. All the angels down here, this is the hardest loka, as they say in the Hindu, the lokas, the different universe stratas of reality. This is the most difficult to choose goodness, to choose hope, to choose to not be angry, to choose to not hate, to choose to love no matter what. This is so hard. So any time we break through that, all of heaven goes, yay, oh, yeah, look at my children, oh, aren't they fabulous? So let's have that leveling field and that knowledge and that empowerment. You know, in the age of celebrity worship, in the age of where we worship money, success, you know, how high is your pile? In the eyes of creation, that doesn't mean anything. So be a celebrity for the universe. Be the universe's celebrity. All the unseen friends, the angels, the tree spirits, nature, the animals, the little dogs, puppies, they all go, oh, we love you, we love you. So listen, because you will hear their voice, you will hear them cheering you and giving you thumbs up on the universal Facebook out there of God. And
right.
You're going to see that you've got millions of followers because that's the world they live in, that language of nature.
I love that. I'm mindful of the quote, there's one thing stronger than all the armies of the world, and that's an idea whose time has come.
Right.
I love that quote. And if, as you're listening and you're needing that one little step, just be mindful to have the right people on your boat. I know it's been so energizing for us to connect because we're, you know, you want to have people on your boat that really see you and mirror who you are and draw from that strength and rejuvenate. And so you can keep that energetic presence and not, you can't be all things to all people.
That's right.
But you can simply, through the spirit within you, you can bring the thing itself that could be what really alters our planet. It's amazing. One simple act.
Well, that's such a beautiful piece of wisdom because that's true. You know, one thing we've been talking about is the soul pod.
Yes.
And I had that awareness. I was watching the dolphins off Hawaii and they're all swimming together. And I love the dolphins and I've been speaking to the dolphins. They've been speaking to me for many, many years. And the whales and the dolphins, I said, oh, you're so happy, you know, I feel their happiness. And they said, well, that's because we have our pod. And they said, if you were to see a dolphin all by themselves in the ocean, they would not be a happy dolphin. That would be a sad dolphin. And that we swim together, we take care of each other, we work together, we're safer together. And that's just what you were saying. It's so important that you have people around you that have a similar resonance that can mirror back to you your spirit. And it's very, very important to find that soul pod and to come together. And that's why we love that you're here and we're here together because don't you feel it? I feel everybody's presence.
Absolutely.
I feel your love mirroring back and it just like, feel my heart expands, I feel a deep sense of peace.
Oh yeah, I
from
love
everybody,
all
of
these
you.
folks online, Joyce and Danielle and Betsy and Forrest and Mustafa. It's wonderful, and many of you tuning in. To name just a few, so it's really awesome because that's how easy it is now. It's easier than it's ever been.
It is, and this is the positive of the social media that
Absolutely.
we can take the airwaves and use them for goodness and caring and creating and structure. So why don't we, you're so wise. I just love
Oh.
you. Isn't she beautiful? She's a face of Punim. Well, wise Punim, what?
You
So
are
give us our wise words, our last wise words. Okay.
You are out there in your life making a difference, whether you realize it or not. In owning it, the question, the fundamental question would be, what difference are you making? You know, are you just joining the tribe of waysayers? Are you looking at the thing that you're called to do? And don't make every change about money, you know, because if you are driving through neighborhoods in your city and you see those broken toys out there and you see that sense of poverty, you can pray over that area every day and light a candle. And you'll one day go by there and see that changes are occurring. There's no limit to what an energetic presence can do. So be willing to know that as a difference maker. The steps will come to you, you know, it will happen. The people will show up. Don't take it all on. Just be willing to make that first step. Yeah.
That's beautiful and beautiful. Thank you. And
Oh,
so
bless
true.
you.
And to kind of wrap up what the subject was today about harnessing universal resilience.
Yes, and you're going to lead us through a meditation or
yeah,
something.
we're
right?
going to do a healing, and that is universal resilience. The resilience, not of the ego, because sometimes life happens so that our ego will be softened, and those lessons might be painful, but they're actually lessons that we need to learn for our growth. But universal resilience is the resilience of your soul, your spirit, our spirit. And it is the resilience that's beyond what you can see. So when you pray, when you light a candle for something that's maybe out of your capability to do anything about, you are creating the universal resilience principle. It's a principle in the universe, so that way over there, here come the flowers. Here come the new growth, the new life. And when we all do this, that principle of universal resilience is going to happen globally. And that is going to be the big shift. And the big shift is coming.
Yeah, let it be born. Let it be born in you. I always say, if your mother thought enough to stretch so you could be born, please think enough of yourself to allow yourself to stretch now. It's time. No holding back.
No holding back.
Take it
our
on.
Time. So let's just, our time is up. I'm going to just play this for my beautiful.
Here, you can see. May I hold it for you?
Yeah, I'll hold it, because otherwise it gets some.
Okay.
This is this bowl. This is crystal bowl. I'm going to hold it. Let's see how pretty she is.
It's beautiful.
This is Saint Germain, who is the overseer of the violet consuming flame, and the violet flame is your central pillar of your tree of life. It is the principle, that the sacred alchemy that just takes that difficult time, the grief, and turns it into joy and creation. So just listen for just a couple of minutes to her presence, and allow the violet flame of healing and transformation, the violet flame that births universal resilience, to fill your whole body, blessing your body. As we bless our world, we see our world covered in fields and fields of flowers, as billions and billions of souls turn their face to the sun and shine as the angels we are. And we see there in the center of our body, there in our belly, in a golden bowl, a violet flame, the violet transforming flame. We deep We breathe into her peace, activating ourselves as the keepers of peace, the peace flame. Is all disruption, all chaos, all pain and suffering, as they enter her sacred doors, her mystical gates, the gold and white light emerges of hope, resilience, recovery, restoration, redemption, salvation, unity, oneness. We are one. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, my love, for being here today.
My
I
pleasure.
so appreciate you being here.
No, my pleasure.
And to all my beautiful
Thank you for
friends,
having me.
Thank you.
Say.
And namaste. Shalom. Love you. I love you.
Yes. I love you. You. I love.
You, I love.